cozy discussion. But before we get started, I'd love to tell you a little bit more about the Reisman Awards. They are our annual customer recognition program where we get to highlight the incredible work of our customers, you, and all the work that you're doing. We've been offering this program since 2017, and since then we've awarded over 46 law firms in a number of different categories. And every year we receive hundreds of submissions. I personally read through every single one. It's one of the highlights of my job. Make maybe like 5 pots of tea and just get inspired by the work that you're doing. It's truly a highlight. And then from there, we have an internal judging panel that votes on the winners. So I'd love to encourage everyone to apply for these awards. We really want to celebrate you, and we absolutely love to hear about the work that you're doing, and submissions are open for 2026. So my name is Taylor Leckie. I'm a senior customer marketing manager here at CLE. I have the pleasure of working very closely with our customers through our Reisman Awards, our customer community, but today I get this honor of moderating this Reisman panel. So the purpose of today's discussion is really to spotlight 2 of our incredible winners from this year and learn how they're building practices designed not just for success today, but really for lasting impact today and into the future. As we know, true growth, it isn't just about scaling. It's really about doing it with sustainability, innovation, and purpose in mind. So I want to give a huge warm welcome to our panelists today. I'm thrilled to introduce Sarah Schickman from Lingia Law, and for our Best Growth Story winner, and Adam Creasy, founder of Adam Benedict, our Best New Law Firm winner, who joined us all the way from London. So thank you, Adam, for being here. So before we get started, we're just going to show you 2 quick videos to get to know our Reisman winners today, and then we will jump into the discussion and have a couple minutes for questions at the end. And for our virtual attendees, feel free to drop your questions in the chat as well, and so we can get to a couple of those too. So first up, we have Lingia Law.
My family fled from Ukraine with literally nothing but 2 suitcases in 1992. And so my parents, they said to us, we came here for you guys. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer. And so the choice was clear. I was going to be a lawyer no matter how much I had to study, no matter that I didn't speak English. And now at 43, I'm running that $5 million law firm. My name is Sarah Schickman, and I'm the managing partner of Lingia Law. We're based in New York City, and we've been a CLE customer since 2021. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. My husband wanted to start a med spa, and we grew to 12 locations. In the divorce, I lost that business. But what I gained was the knowledge on how to start this kind of business and how to help entrepreneurs. There are over 25,000 med spas in the US. And knowing those numbers and knowing how my own med spa grew, I knew that there was a tremendous opportunity in this market to help people start these kind of businesses. Many of our clients are first-time entrepreneurs. A lot of our clients are female, people who've never had a business education or don't know how to start a business. We've helped clients start from 1 room, literally 200 square feet, to selling to private equity for several millions of dollars. And they come to us from being a shy person who never started a business before, not knowing much, to being a fully independent, empowered person who can do whatever she wants to do and is not scared of anything. When I started the firm, we had 2 clients and less than $10,000 in revenue. And now we have over 1,700 clients and more than $5 million in revenue. And for multiple years, we've achieved over 100% year-over-year growth. We've grown so fast because when clients hire us, they realize that we've been in their shoes before and we can help them faster, better, and more accurately than our competitors. I think everyone is capable of incredible things. You can do anything you put your mind to. You just have to create the opportunity. The American dream is alive and well for anyone who's brave enough to chase it.
Thank you, Sarah. And next, we have Adam Benedict.
We want our lawyers to be entrepreneurs. We want them to think differently. People expect lawyers to know the law, and legal excellence is part and parcel of what we do. We do it every single day through adopting modern and efficient legal technology and making people really trust lawyers again. My name is Adam Creasy. I'm the co-founder and managing director of Adam Benedict. We're based in the City of London. We've been a CLE customer since 2023. The firm's mission is to make legal services more integrated, more accessible, more technologically driven, and more cost effective, so that lawyers are seen less as distressed purchases and more as strategic partners and collaborators. We find that operating a subscription model is something that lends itself well to clients who are looking for a longer term strategic partner. And so let's actually advise you and walk you through the growth of your business and how you're going to manage that. That's where I think the future of the professions lies. The biggest milestones, they would include being recognized in the Legal 500, Times Best Law Firm. We're the first firm to obtain a building liability order and an information order under the Building Safety Act. That has almost certainly propelled us faster than we could ever have imagined.
We've grown quite quickly in 2.5 years, and as we're an alternative business structure, we can pivot if we need to best serve our client base. So with technology evolving, the legal world evolving, there's always an option for us to serve our clients in a better way. We foster a culture within our firm that everyone's on board. The staff are part of the journey, their opinions are valued, their ideas are valued, and we are putting things in place to make sure that they develop.
I hope that we'll be able to establish ourselves as a trusted, trailblazing jewel in the legal industry. I fundamentally believe that what we're doing is going to change the industry for the better.
Thank you, Adam. Okay, so let's dive into the discussion, and thank you so much. I love always working with you on those videos. But to get a level set on what growth truly means at your firm, I think it's always important to define as we go into this discussion. So how do you define growth at your firm? Is it solely focused on increasing revenue? Is it about increasing headcount, cases, maybe like a one-sentence summary? And for all of our virtual attendees, feel free to jump in and define how you're measuring growth right now too. Adam, over to you.
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Firstly, it's a pleasure to be here, so thank you very much. Growth at our firm at the moment means multiplying the number of subscription clients that we have per fee earner, and we think that with just 10 subscription clients per fee earner, we can triple our revenue again. We did that in from year 1 to year 2 anyway. Beyond that, we're very passionate about adding value to all of our clients and becoming a multidisciplinary practice. We're adopting new technology all the time to try and find ways to add more than just legal services and be a one-stop shop for business owners and entrepreneurs alike. Awesome.
And Sarah, what about you?
We use a lot of simple metrics. I think simple is easy. It's easy for us to understand, for our team to understand, and to be motivated by. So for us, growth is revenue, average value per client per year, and the growth of our team, like how many full-time equivalent team members we have.
Great. And what would you say was maybe the most important learning curve that your firm faced early on, and how does it shape, or how did it shape how you operate today? Sarah, why don't you kick us off?
One important thing for us was realizing that we don't have to be like everyone else or like anyone else. We as lawyers are taught that everything is about precedent, and if you don't see a lot of people in your industry doing something this way, then it must be incorrect. But a lot of ideas from outside of law are really impactful when you bring them into a law firm, like different ideas about marketing, different ideas about how to recruit staff. So one thing that we realize is we don't have to do anything like how other people do it or how these older law firms that have been around for 200 years do it. We can just do it our own way. And guess what? If it doesn't work, we'll pivot and try something else.
That's a great answer. For us, it's the realization that not everybody is as invested in your success as you are. So pick your suppliers very carefully and make sure that they are ready to work with you from day one and appropriate for your level of growth at any one stage.
Yep, that makes sense. And switching gears a little bit, so for us at Clio, we call ourselves Cleons, for those who don't know. One of our Clio principles and values is to play the infinite game, which is really where we work for ways that we can sustain our people, our mission, our momentum over the long term. So how it really relates to sustainable growth. So tying into that, what do you think was maybe like the one most important thing you did to grow your practice? Sarah, why don't you start?
I think for us is going above and beyond for our customers, but also making sure that our customers shared that online through reviews or by incentivizing them to talk to other clients, whatever it is. So I think early on, straight from the beginning, we said, okay, I know you hired us as your legal partner, but having been in your business before, I would suggest these 5 other business strategies that maybe you didn't think of. Have you thought of them? And people were like, wow, like that's not what I expected from my law firm. And then I said, okay, well, can you share your Google review about this really quickly? That would mean so much to me. And that really helped us grow very quickly.
Well, I passionately believe as a business owner that the most important thing you can do is, as a business owner, is to get off the tools as quickly as humanly possible and work on the business rather than in the business. It also helped that we have won quite a few awards back home, and we've also created legal history in the construction industry. I realized that not every law firm can do or say that, but it's certainly been an important factor in how rapidly we've been able to grow.
Great. And something that I think that's interesting that you both have in common is that, Sarah, I know you have a membership, or clients can sign up for a membership, and Adam, you have a subscription service. So what made you both decide to go that avenue?
I'll take this one. I think that the hourly rate model is no longer suitable for the legal industry. I mean, it was an amazing keynote speech that we saw today, and I think clients no longer value sort of the amount of time that it takes to produce the outcomes that they're after. So I think that that's probably the most important shift that we've experienced, certainly.
Yeah, I think what you said is right. And I see the businesses around us, right? Like Clio and many other companies, right? They're not doing one-off services. They are holding the customers closer together to the firm by having like a more encompassing package that's not just like, okay, we're going to do your deal and then it will be done. It's more of a mind shift from the customers where they're realizing, okay, like I'm not just going to be done with you after 1 month. You're going to be with me for a year or 2 years. And I think in their mind, that makes them think of you as more of like their true partner, not just their lawyer.
I love that. And Sarah, I mean, obviously for your firm, you've experienced 100% year-over-year growth in revenue. How has your firm kept up with the growth that you've experienced? I know that you love tools and processes. So can you maybe tell us what tools and processes you've implemented that have really made a difference?
Sure. And first, I want to say things are definitely not perfect, and things break every day. And sometimes we outgrow the tools, and then all chaos breaks loose. And that's okay. That's part of a growing firm. As Adam said, like it's about having a team around you that's okay with like weathering the storm and really being around for even when things are not working well. But what we do is we do use a lot of systems. So we do use like all of Clio's different products: Clio Grow, Clio Manage, Clio Draft. We're starting to use Clio Accounting. So we try to have as little different systems as possible, so we're not like logging into 100 different things, because I think that's very confusing, and really going deep into using like 1 or 2 core things, but using them all the time. And if I see somebody doing a manual task that they could actually do in Clio or somewhere else, I'm like, wait, why are you doing that manually? Like, that is wrong. I would never tell someone that they're wrong if they're doing like actual legal work, unless it was absolutely wrong. But if they're doing like wrong technology stuff that could be done automated way and save a lot of time, I'm like, no, wait, this is wrong. You can't keep doing this. Please use the technology.
I can verify Sarah has sent me a couple emails being like, there needs to be a better way. So she's very good at that.
So we have a mantra that there's never anything wrong, there's only ever something missing. And you were talking about learning curves earlier. We have devised an internal document which, following this conference, I'm probably going to have to rip up and start again, but called the Adam Benedict Way, which basically, coaches and trains our staff to work within a certain system without squashing their ability to be autonomous and creative at work. Unusually, I think for a law firm of our size, we've also invested in operations very early. So we're a team of, well, now 12 people, and we have as many non-lawyers as lawyers, and traditional law firms and solicitors in the UK that we meet who cannot get their head around this. But it's about, we have now a dedicated team of staff who sit there, and their day job is to work out how to drive efficiencies in the law firm, which means that the fee earners are freed up to business develop and work on client matters.
Okay, great. And something that I always like to ask is that obviously you're both two very successful firms, but with growth obviously comes challenges. So I always like to ask this as well on what's one failure or misstep that you took, if you can be vulnerable today, that you turned into a valuable lesson?
Being oversubscribed. So obviously in the early stages, it's a race to try and get as many clients onboarded as humanly possible, and then you reach that point where actually your resources are extended too far, mistakes can start creeping in, and so now we are developing in a way that where our kind of capacity matches our growth, matches our systems, and it's much more natural. So yeah, being oversubscribed was a big learning curve.
Awesome. Sarah, what about you?
I think for us, it was an HR mistake. So we always have people contacting us saying like, oh, I have my own firm, but I also want to be a part-time of counsel, blah, 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 at your firm. And part of that sounds attractive because you don't have a full-time salary then, and this person may be more flexible, but they know the work, but you're actually allowing them to run their own business while they're working for you. Those types of hires for us never really worked out, even though we gave them a good tries. So we learned that we're not doing that again. There were some very expensive mistakes, but we learned from them.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And what about any mistakes with clients or processes?
Yeah, I think not defining the scope of work very well early on. So doing like a fixed retainer, a fixed project fee, but not defining the project very specifically. And so then people would all of a sudden start calling every day about somewhat related, but really not related things and say, well, this is in scope. You told me like you're going to help me launch my business. And so it just caused us to have tighter processes, better contracts, and making it a little bit more like, this is how we do things. If you don't like our standard package, maybe we're not the right firm for you, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think setting expectations, and yeah, that makes sense. So as we know, getting your firm into the world, getting exposure is really important for growth for a lot of firms. Do you have any tangible advice for firms who are trying to get more exposure?
Yeah, again, I have a bit of a mantra on this, which is aim for omnipotence. Try and be everywhere and hire, if you can, a dedicated person or people in your team who are shouting about why, Simon Sinek, start with why you are doing what you're doing and how you're helping your clients to win. So I would say omnipotence is a great start. If you want quick and easy wins, then video content is extremely helpful tool to build trust. Marketing is all about building trust with the end consumer and trying to reduce the number of touch points before they will instruct you.
Yeah, I think what you said is right. For us, one thing we think about is, okay, what do we want our revenue to be? Let's say we want our revenue next year to be 10 million. Then we have to be ready to spend 1 million in marketing, not just in pay-per-click budget, but in the team, the content, the budget, everything, right? So really allocating the right budget toward what you're looking to achieve. It's going to be really hard, I think, to get to 10 million without spending a lot of money on marketing and the systems to support that. So really allocating enough budget, at least 10% of what you want to get in revenue toward marketing.
10%. Okay, that's a great call out. So now I think we've got 10 minutes left. I'd love to open it up to the audience to see if you have any questions. So are there any questions for Sarah and Adam? I was going to say, it's like, this is a big room. I feel like there's some questions. I see one in the back.
Hello, my name is Jake. I run a more maybe traditional law firm in the Midwest. And so what I find very interesting is you have a different legal model as it relates to, it sounds like both of you. One from a Schickman that you are almost like a business coaching model, as I'm kind of interpreting. I don't know your law firm and have a flat fee service. And then Mr. Creasy, also maybe a subscription-based, which to me is maybe, is that pioneering? Did you intend to create that model before you started your firm and knowing that? Or did it develop into that? Because I think most law firms, I'm more traditional, older, we're on a billable hour model. And so I'm wondering if you could comment at all into how you developed that model for you, subscription or flat fee based. Did it develop over time or was it very intentional? Thank you.
So when I first started the firm, I thought it would be simpler to just do flat fee. And it was $5,000 or $7,500 for projects. But actually, we evolved over time to where now we have memberships, and there are 3 tiers. And the way that it works is it's essentially like a bank of hours that people buy, plus access to our webinars, to our template library, and a bunch of other things. So it still, for us, has an hourly billing component. And the way that it works is people subscribe, they have a bank of hours that they can use. If they don't use them, they don't really lose them. We usually let people roll it over or apply to other things. But it keeps them a little bit more committed and engaged. But there are different levels through which they can buy the hours. But it developed over time because people were asking us, like they would hire us for one project and then they would ask us to do other things. And it was hard because we would say, well, this is not in scope, this is not in scope. But now everything's in scope, but the hours just come off of their membership payment.
Okay, this is a huge question for me, spanning lots and lots of different thoughts, but I'll try and keep it succinct. I think the penny dropped before I set up the business, when I read The Client-Centered Law Firm by Jack Newton, and the first couple of chapters of that is all about how, the death of Blockbuster, the start of Netflix, and the subscription kind of model. And there's a really interesting guy, for anyone who is interested in migrating over to a subscription model, called Matthew Kurbis, who calls himself the subscription attorney. He and I have been speaking, and now my firm is about to roll out an entirely different subscription model, which is nothing to do with the hourly rate, which is what I really want. And it is about effectively charging based on a certain number of projects, and I think it's a better model all round because adding additional value items, we've now have as part of our subscription, we're going to have a knowledge hub on our website, access to videos, access to events, a wealth management tool, lots and lots of other things that are really exciting and in the pipeline. It's easier to do that and to scale that safely if you don't charge based on the hourly rate. So it was something that I thought about from day one, to answer your question directly.
Awesome. Thank you both. Any other questions? Oh, perfect. We have one up at the front. We're just walking up with a mic so that our virtual attendees can hear as well.
Hello. Thank you very much to you both. I have a question for Adam. I launched an affordable housing law firm last year, and we have a lot more client work than we were expecting. And so I really appreciated your comment of kind of needing to recalibrate in the beginning, of having operations kind of match staff capacity, which matches client workload. So what are some of the things that you adjusted? Like, how did you approach that problem?
Again, there are so many things and so many things that you can learn so early on. Coming up with a very simple, Sarah mentioned simple systems that can be coached into your team, one of which was about client vetting. So we categorized, and I believe Clio can probably now do that automatically, but categorizing our clients into, good fit, bad fit, and coaching everybody about what that means, so that we're not taking on clients that will take up more time for little value, or who are just not a good fit from the start, was a really good one. And now that has all culminated in putting together a very straightforward internal program that allows our staff to, know how we should be working day to day. I think getting an operation person in your team, we invested in Tilly very early on, actually, but it's been a game changer for us, because it just means someone is looking at that every single day. So if you haven't done that yet, I highly recommend you do, and happy to speak about it in more detail afterwards.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? I can't see with the light. Okay, well, I have another one. What advice would you give to other law firms who want to grow at the same rate that your firm has?
I would say invest in the systems and operations people as well. Having the system to support the revenue is really even more important than getting the revenue. Then once you have the systems, then your mind will be more free to think about, okay, how do we get the revenue? How do we do the sales? A lot of times people do sales first and systems after, and that's fine too, but it makes things like very chaotic. We also got an operations person like very early on, and we have a very similar ratio to you guys, where we have 10 attorneys and 10 non-attorneys. Just because we find that that's what's needed to really keep the attorney time optimized too.
Well, growth is a natural result of wise and strategic investment. And so, but for me, it started in investing in myself as the owner of a business. So we have business coaches, and I have a personal coach who has enabled me to get off the tools much more quickly than I ever expected. And then we learned how, through these systems, to profitably delegate work, from me all the way down to the non-fee earning staff. Beyond that, I guess, so learning those leadership skills early on, and those communication skills, and creating a culture where people can be freely expressed is really, really fundamental. And I guess, beyond that, don't compromise on quality, be omnipotent, and leverage tech.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you both. Those 30 minutes truly flew by. Sarah and Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. And if anyone does have any other questions, I think Sarah and Adam can maybe spend 5 to 10 minutes in the back answering any questions. Growth and revenue, truly one of the biggest topics. We could talk about it for hours, but I appreciate everyone joining us today for this session. And again, the Reisman Awards are open. I'd love to read your submission and learn more about your firms and the impactful work that you're doing. So thank you so much for joining us today.